Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football here on the Sports History Network. Aside from my podcasting duties, I'm also a sports collector. And as such, I'm very pleased to share the exciting news that the Sports History Network has partnered with Rochester Sports Autographs, the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributor in the United States, where you can get deals on over 30,000 autograph sports collectibles. So as a collector, I was very pleased when I visited the site of Rochester Sports Autographs. The massive inventory is easy to search, carefully documented, and visually appealing. The options seem limitless, whether you're looking for an autographed baseball, signed football helmets, or basketball jerseys, among thousands of others. I found everything from a Babe Ruth autograph, a signed football by Dick Butkus, and an autographed Larry Bird basketball jersey. And as a collector, you'll be delighted with the very competitive pricing on JSA authenticated products. Made possible since RSA deals directly with athletes, so there's no extra markup, and the savings are passed on directly to the customer. Perhaps you're looking for an early gift for Mother's Day or Father's Day. Heck, who needs a holiday as an excuse to give a piece of sports history to your loved ones? Or how about yourself? Today seems like a great day to add to your own sports collection, right? RSA even has film, music, and other entertainment autographs on the site, so there's something for everyone. All orders from Rochester Sports Autographs are top quality and shipped to your door with top authentication and a money-back guarantee. And to make sure RSA knows that the Sports History Network sent you, we created a special link for you. All you need to do is head to shoprsa.com/SHN. That's shoprsa.com/SHN to get your own piece of sports history today.
Now it's time to take a sports break, a look at sports history on a daily basis. Hello, my friends of sports history. This is Darren Hayes of the Sports Jersey Dispatch podcast. Welcome once again to the Pig Pen, your place for all things great in sports history. And welcome to another sports break as we talk about some of the greatest events in sports history that occurred or are associated with May 15th. And before we do, let's make sure you're aware of our email. To get in touch with us, send us some feedback. We're pigskindispatch@gmail.com. Easy to find out, easy to remember, and easy to contact us as we talk and respond to every email sent to us. And we'd love to hear your opinions and comments and maybe some suggestions on ways to improve our website. We're here for you, and we want to do our best. So let's get into our stories for May 15th. We're going to start over on Pigskin Dispatch today because this is a big day, a big two-day session, May 14th and May 15th. Back in 1874, they're the anniversaries of the Harvard-McGill game. Now, if you remember those Harvard-McGill games, they had McGill from Montreal area in Canada bringing down their way of playing what was called football at that time, which was more of a rugby style. And you had Harvard, who was playing their football, which was probably we would consider more of a soccer style at the time. Well, they had two games in Cambridge, Mass, playing near Harvard, and played these two games, one by Harvard's rules one day. The next day, they played by McGill's rules. Now, the second day was a great day at Jarvis Field, and because the first day's play had been by Harvard's rules, and yesterday many from McGill were adopted. Now, 3 games of half an hour each were played, each one being called at the expiration of each, and without either club having been able to force the ball over the opposing goal. Now, there was a large crowd and much enthusiasm, and Park H. Davis, in his book from 1911 titled Football, the Intercollegiate Game, states that McGill University's captain in 1874 was a player by the name of David Roger, and that was this that he sent an invitation for the game to Harvard, and first suggested that it be played this in May of 1874 time period in Cambridge, Mass, under the Rugby All-America Code rules. The second game proposed to be played in Montreal under the Harvard rules, introducing each school's style of play to the fans of the host school. But it didn't work out that way. They played the 2 games on it, and May 15th was under McGill's rules, and Harvard won the first game 3-0, while the second was a scoreless tie. And after a return match in Montreal that October, Harvard decided to adopt the McGill version for good. And in June 1875, Tufts defeated Harvard in the first football game between American teams. That fall, Harvard met Yale for the first time under the concessory rules that blended the 2 games, but leaned towards Harvard's version, which was actually McGill's. So some great history, the start of professional and college and high school football, American-style football, happened that weekend. Because there was a certain man by the name of Walter Camp that may have been in attendance, or at least got some good word what was going on there, and gave him some inspiration to change some rules around, and the rest is history. Some great birthdays from the football world. May 15, 1921 in Delphos, Ohio. University of Wyoming halfback from 1948 to 1950. Eddie Talboom arrived in this world, and he had a great career there with the University of Wyoming. He was nicknamed Boom Boom, and he ended up going into the College Football Hall of Fame in the year 2000 for his great play. We have more on his bio on Pigskin Dispatch. In 1923, on his date, San Diego, California, George Brown of the U.S. Naval Academy and San Diego State, who played guard at both those from 1942 to 1943, and again in 1947. As you can tell, he was in the Great War and interrupted his collegiate career. He served on the USS Indianapolis on a couple of submarines during World War II. Ended up playing such good ball that the College Football Hall of Fame proudly placed his display in honor of George Brown in the legendary museum in 1985. And in 1958 in Perry, Georgia, Florida State's 1977 and 1980 defensive tackle Ron Simmons claimed his date of birth. Now, he ended up being a force in many ways and forcing many fumbles of opposing offenses, and just a tremendous player. He finished 9th in the Heisman Trophy voting in 1979 and ended up getting his record celebrated in the College Football Hall of Fame in his induction in 2008. And played in a couple seasons in USFL before becoming a star in professional wrestling in a duel called Doom. He was one of those people there. May 15, 1969, the legendary Emmitt Smith was born in Pensacola, Florida. The NFL's leading rusher currently, a legendary University of Florida running back from 1987 to 1989, born this day. And he arrived at Florida with a bang, playing as he was the National Player of the Year, scoring 109 touchdowns during his time at Pensacola, Florida High School. And says he was just broke a single game rushing mark in an upset of Alabama early in his career of college. He gained 1,341 yards as a freshman and finished 9th in the Heisman voting, and a top 10 finish was only the second time a freshman had broken the top 10. We know what he did in college. He ended up getting drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. And later, the College Football Hall of Fame put him into their museum in 2006. First-round pick of the Cowboys in 1990, 17th overall selection. He played 15 seasons as a back in the league and came out as the all-time rushing champion, 18,355 yards, 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons, 3 Super Bowl titles, and has also gone into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2010. And Desmond Howard was born in 1970 in Cleveland, Ohio. University of Michigan's wide receiver and kick returner from 1989 to 1991. Had a tremendous collegiate career. Went into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2010. Was a 4th overall selection in the 1992 NFL Draft by the Washington Redskins. Spent 11 seasons as a professional in the NFL and claimed the Super Bowl 31 Most Valuable Player award when he led the Green Bay Packers over the New England Patriots after setting Super Bowl records for punt returns with 90 and total return yards 244 in that game. He also set the Super Bowl record for the longest kick return of 99 yards, and quite a day for him getting that MVP as well. And then in 1970, that same day, Texarkana, Arkansas, the 1988, 1990 to 94 wide receiver from Missouri Southern, Rod Smith, was born. Now, Rod Smith had a great college career. He had 254 yards in a game, which was a collegiate career. 4 touchdowns in one game. Average yards per catch was 24 yards per catch, and career receiving yards of 3,122 and 35 touchdowns in his college career. Also, the only player in Missouri Southern State history to have his number retired. So very interesting. National Football Foundation placed Rod Smith into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2009, and he had a great pro career with the Denver Broncos as he had franchise records for career receptions with 849, receiving yards 11,389, and touchdown receptions 68. Led the Broncos to winning 2 Super Bowls during his tenure with the club. And here's a big one. 1975, May 15th, Ray Lewis, a standout linebacker from the University of the Miami Hurricanes program, was born. He was selected in the 1996 NFL Draft by the Ravens as the 26th overall pick. And Ray was a great performer with the Baltimore Ravens during his 17-year NFL career. And he ended up going to the Super Bowl and winning it, a Super Bowl 35 MVP, as well as the Defensive Player of the Year award in both 2000 and 2003. Just the second player in history to earn both a Super Bowl MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. A remarkable player. Ray led Baltimore in tackles in 14 different seasons as he became the first player in history to reach the marks of both 40 career sacks and at least 30 interceptions. Made it to 12 Pro Bowls and earned the status of NFL All-Pro 8 different times. Ray Lewis in 2018 was enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as well. And boy, that is a lot of great football news. And football is not the only sport that has great happenings on May 15th. We go to our Jersey Dispatch site, and May 15th, 1912, Detroit Tigers star slugger Ty Cobb lets an obnoxious fan get to him, and the player leaps up into the stands and the railing and assaults the heckler at a New York Highlander game. Cobb was suspended for his actions by the American League Commissioner, and more to come on that in following days as you'll hear his plight. In 1918, on this date, big train Walter Johnson, pitcher from the Washington Senators, baffles opposition for 18 innings in a 1-0 Senator victory. Lefty Williams was on the other mound for the Chicago White Sox, and he also pitched a brilliant performance, only to fall victim to Washington, Walter Johnson, in that extra inning affair. In 1938, on the 15th of May, baseball legend Buck O'Neil made his debut playing for the Kansas City Monarchs of the Negro League of Baseball at Rupert Stadium in Kansas City. Now, we have some more great baseball to talk about, and we have some great sites to go into for some inspiration. ThisDayInBaseball.com has some spectacular things that they have on their website each and every day. We have links to it on JerseyDispatch.com. And one of those, it happened in 1901. It was the first shutout in American League history. Is recorded by Waddy Lee of the Washington Senators as he blanks the Boston Americans by the score of 4-0. And also, we have another great event that happened when, in 1946, Mel Harder and Steve Gromek fired back-to-back shutouts over the Athletics as Cleveland Indians wins 2 games in a doubleheader, 3-0 and 5-0 on a day. Dozens more where that came from. ThisDayInBaseball.com. Follow the links on JerseyDispatch.com. Now, we also like to go to 80sbaseball.com, and our friend Jay Daniel has some great events and birthdays he celebrates there. And one he has for today is May 15th, 1984, the Major League debut of pitcher Roger Clemens in freezing temperatures with the Boston Red Sox. They also have, Jay talks about some great bits for May 15th on John Smoltz, George Brett, Bill North, Rick Waits, Eric King, Len Barker, Chris Welsh, and many more. 80sbaseball.com and Jay Daniel. Now, we love to go to the hockey rinks. There's a lot of hockey going on, and there is some great stuff from the hockeywriters.com for May 15th, and they have some of the most lopsided trade in NHL history, a franchise-altering draft pick, and some significant expansion franchises. They talk about those, as well as stories on Phil Esposito, Ken Hodge, Fred Stanfield, Pitt Martin, Jack Norris, Giles Murat, Bobby Clark, Felix Potvin, and many more. Hockeywriters.com is the name of the site. And we also have the Hooked on Hockey magazine, and boy, they have some interesting things as well on that site. It's one of the newer ones that we have located and talked about. And they talk about May 15th, 1990, the Edmonton Oilers and the Boston Bruins battled in the longest game in finals history, a triple overtime game that lasted 125 minutes and 13 seconds. Edmonton's Peter Kilma was the hero as he sealed his team's 3-2 victory in the first game of the finals, a series that would be won by the Oilers, and it was actually only the 9th longest game in NHL history at the time. So tremendous by that, hookedonhockey.com. And we also like to go to thisdayinhockeyhistory.com, and they have some great events as well. And one of those is, of course, talking about Wayne Gretzky. Now, he could, how could he become more popular? Well, winning that Stanley Cup championship, that's one way to do it. And he won a bunch of those with the Edmonton Oilers. And they have a great feature for this May 15th on This Day in Hockey History. We have links on jerseydispatch.com on the post, so make sure you check that out. So that is pretty much our great sports history for the day. We're glad you could join us. There's so much more to find on jerseydispatch.com and pigskindispatch.com. We hope you do, and we hope you join us each and every time we have a new podcast drop. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcast provider, or get our newsletter. Go to the show notes of this podcast, or at the top of pigskindispatch.com or jerseydispatch.com. Totally free, cancel anytime, and I think you're going to enjoy it. Till next time, everybody, have a great sports history day. Sorry, but my pitching coach just called timeout, and he's coming out to the mound. I think I'm going to get yanked for a reliever. We'll see you back tomorrow for some more great sports history on Sports Jersey Dispatch Podcast. We invite you to check out our websites, jerseydispatch.com and pigskindispatch.com. Not only see the daily sports history, but to experience the preservation of great events and people that play the games. Find us on Pigskin Dispatch. It's also on social media outlets of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all your daily sports history. Pigskin Dispatch is happy to be associated with the Sports History Network, the sports headquarters of yesteryear, found at sportshistorynetwork.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football, here on the Sports History Network. I'm very pleased to announce that I will be partnering with the Sports History Network to give away 2 copies of my latest book called Bears vs. Cardinals, the NFL's Oldest Rivalry. To enter, just head over to the following link, sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. We hope you'll enjoy the numerous stories in the book, which is largely based on the newly released Dutch Tournament collection at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Dutch was the co-owner of the early Chicago Bears with George Halas and kept correspondence, financial records, and scouting reports, which now allow us to peek into the management of an NFL club during the first few years of the league's existence. Along the way, we'll meet unusual gridiron characters from years gone by, including a quarterback who could throw the ball farther behind his back than he could throwing it forward, a Bears lineman who was such a good tavern fighter that he decided to enter the boxing universe, and a Cardinals halfback who gave up the NFL rushing title by deciding to not show up for his team's final game of the season. And can we forget the time the Al Capone mob interrupted a Bears-Cardinals game? The new book was fun to research, and I hope you will enter our free contest today. Once the winners are selected, we'll be in touch regarding shipping as well as to inscribe the book personally for you. This might make a perfect gift for Mother's or Father's Day, or simply add it to your own personal collection. Once again, enter by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. Thank you and good luck.